Okay. Hello and welcome to our presentation for RB2203, History and Theory in the Built Environment. We're doing the Guaranty Building. My name is Rowan.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Chloe.
Great, let's get started. So, the building overview of the Guaranty Building. So basically, the Guaranty Building was completed in 1896 and it was an early skyscraper constructed in Buffalo, New York. The building was designed by Louis Sullivan and Dankmar Adler and was commissioned for construction by Haskell Taylor. The building is 13 stories tall in total and has a total height of 51 meters. The building is renowned for its ornate ornamentation, including many highly detailed and patterned elements, including columns, light fixtures, and terracotta exterior cladding tiles. It is also renowned for being one of the first examples of a steel-framed skyscraper. So for the architects, we have Louis Sullivan and Dankmar Adler. So Louis Sullivan is renowned for pioneering many of the world's first skyscrapers. These skyscrapers included the Sullivan Center in Chicago and the Empire State Building in New York City. Louis Sullivan was a mentor to Frank Lloyd Wright and was the first to coin the term form follows function. As for Dankmar Adler, he was best known for his work alongside Louis Sullivan. He was hired to Sullivan's firm in 1880 and the pair worked together for 15 years. Together they worked on a total of 100 designs, and Adler left the firm 1 year prior to the completion of the Guaranty Building. So Haskell Taylor was a businessman who gained prominence and fortune due to the trading of oil during the American Civil War period. In 1881, he became a resident of Buffalo and began investing in property. Taylor commissioned the construction of the Guaranty Building, positioning it in the growing downtown district within close proximity of several pre-existing institutional facilities. The site was also to be powered by electricity due to its close proximity to the Niagara River. Taylor purchased the plot of land with the ambitions of creating the finest office building in the country. Taylor's demise 2 years before the completion of the project ultimately led to Guaranty taking control of the project and naming the building. So as for the historical context of Buffalo, New York, the first settlers arrived in the area in 1789. In 1825, the Erie Canal was completed. This canal was 584 kilometers long and connected the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean. The canal created a lot of traffic along the river, so in 1940, a larger shipping point was constructed, leading to a population boom in Buffalo between the years of 1845 and 1865. Due to readily accessible power from hydroelectric plants on the Niagara River, the city experienced many benefits and innovations, including large electric grain mills and the first electric grain elevator. So as for the history of skyscrapers in general, the home insurance building was actually considered to be the first true skyscraper. However, this tower in Chicago relied on very, very thick exterior walls to support the building. Henry Bessemer was actually the first to develop a decarbonization process for iron. This enabled it to be made into high-strength steel, which was able to be mass-produced effectively for the very first time. So George A. Fuller was the first to ever actually utilize these new steel beams, and he used them for the first time to create the entire internal structure for a building, constructing the Tacoma building. This steel framing was able to be used in subsequent tower designs, and the invention of the electric elevator in 1883 additionally enabled skyscrapers to increase in accessibility, by extension enabling the height of skyscrapers to continually increase.
For the contemporary reception of this project, I have gotten both of my sources from Sullivan's The Tall Office Building, Architecturally Considered, which is from Lipcott's magazine and dates March 1896, as well as Dankmar Adler's response to Louis Sullivan's The Tall Office Building, Function and Environment. Legacies and enduring relevance. Although the building was recognised as an architectural masterpiece, as Russ exclaims, it started to deteriorate in the 1940s. Later, in 1955, a modernisation project was conducted that added a fiberglass exterior to the lower floors and dropped the ceiling in the lobby. In 2006, Hodge and Russ began to renovate the building over the next 2 years. He renovated the interior, raising the lobby roof to its original standard. He repaired and restored the art glass windows and other external features, including the original terracotta. In 2020, this year, the building has been undergoing a rejuvenation project that is restoring the Guaranty Building back to its original state. It also turns the old theatre hall that is next to the building into apartments. Critical reception. In Lewis Sullivan's The Tall Office Building, Architecturally Considered, he describes how the original building was designed and how it was constructed. He explains the problems he encountered and how he resolved them. One of his problems was, how shall we impart to this sterile pile, this crude, harsh, brutal algorithmication, this stark, staring exclamation of external strife, the graciousness of those higher forms of sensibility and culture that rest on the lower and fiercer passions. I have compared Sullivan's original text, The Tall Office Building, to Adler's response to this text. Adler said in his response that Sullivan's essay was presented in 3 parts. First, a statement of the office building's conditions in the plainest manner, along with a description of a standard massing solution and a suggestion for its broad architectural treatment.
Modernity in architecture is difficult to define in stylistic or even ideological terms. Perhaps this is because modernity itself is conceptualized through a collection of theories and attitudes that reflect a number of contextual circumstances under which its conception began. The ability to describe these circumstances provides insight into how modernity manifests itself in architecture. The historical context of a previous architectural period, the Renaissance, began losing its theoretical governance in architectural practice. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the search for a new style, reflective of the times and rooted in the idea of progress, became more and more relevant. This search gave birth to modernity and a variety of different artistic, philosophical, architectural, and political movements, many contradicting each other and all trying to address the direction of this progress. The relatively rapid development of new technologies assisted in a reorganization of society to serve an industrial economy. This conscious idea of progress is what allowed the beneficiaries of the industrial economy to justify the devastation of agrarian societies and the broader global colonial empire that came with high-density cities centered around the manufacturing of goods. Articulated by Adler in his essay, Function and Environment, we are still more blessed in being allowed the privilege of participating in the creation and in witnessing the birth of another epoch of architectural design, the form or style of which will be founded upon the discovery of the steel pillar, the steel beam, the clear sheet of plate glass, electric light, and mechanical ventilation. The Guaranty Building reflects this circumstance of modernity, technological advancements. As one of the early examples of a steel-framed building, this new structural innovation allowed for the development of the modern typology of the tall office building. The commission of the Guaranty Building by Haskell Taylor was well received due to an emerging attitude of modern civic pride, attributed by Francis Ching's Global History of Architecture as a political response to the social costs of the rapidly growing cities serving the industrial economy. The Guaranty provides an example of modernity in architectural thought with its underlying design principles, progressing from the aesthetic theories of previous styles. Sullivan's essay, The Tall Office Building Artistically Considered, proposes the architectural theory of form following function and can be seen as a motif in the Guaranty Building. The building, to function as an office space, as well as serve as a commercial investment by attracting wealthy tenants, could be achieved, in Adler's view, through an abundance of daylight and air, leading to the development of a system of unit spatial division. According to an analysis of the Guaranty's ornamentation and design by Joseph Seary, this unit became the unit of which all the design and construction related to, rather than the use of proportional aesthetic theories of previous historical styles.
So in conclusion, the Guaranty Building was renowned for its groundbreaking steel-framed engineering and ornate decoration. The design and ambition of this tower would go on to influence many emerging modernist architects throughout the 20th century, including Frank Lloyd Wright. The building's legacy as one of the first high-rise modernist designs continues to this day. Thanks to dedicated restorative efforts conducted over the past century, the building is still well maintained and in current operational use.